Report story. Smoke billowed and orange light billowed from the streets of Tokyo. Agencies catching fire, buildings catching some of the flames and starting their own fires. Screams of people running through the streets. Heroes were just now arriving on the scenes, however most of the heroes that were on duty were injured or dead due to the coordinated attack. Looks like we got them by surprise. This may help out the liberation plan sooner than expected. The Dobby clone said to himself, holding on to a burned hero by the cuff of his costume, walking out one of the burning agencies. This is going a little better than expected. You think so? A clone of Gaslighter asked, walking next to him. These people, idolizing heroes and quirks, this damned curse, none of this would have happened if they just allowed it to happen. We told you before, dumbass. It's not the quirks that are the problem. It's the people who have them. Like me, like you, like everyone. The Gaslighter clone thought about that again. They told him the same thing beforehand. Old habits die hard. The true curse was society. The true curse was people. The clone raised both his hands and raised his arms. Gas came flying out of each car to create a massive sphere of gasoline floating in the middle of the road. Would you happen to do the honors? Gaslighter asked, his eyes full of red anger and dilated as small as humanly possible. Dobby smirks and raised his own purple arm. Blue flames were sent towards the gasoline sphere. The explosion could be seen from the windows of the UA dorms, where Izuku was holding Eri, watched in horror, looking out at the blue mushroom explosion from the city. Deku, are we gonna be okay? Eri asked as Izuku onlooked the chaos. Izuku looked down at Eri with the best smile he could, trying not to show the distraught in his eyes. We'll be just fine, Eri. We'll be just fine, he said, looking down into her red orbs. Eri's worried expression didn't change though. What about Coco? Izuku couldn't control the pained expression that hit his face. He couldn't help the one he loved save people. She was out there, alone without him in that chaos. Izuku raised a hand to the back of Eri's head and pressed her face down into his neck. He couldn't just sit here. He had to figure out what was going on with his quirk. He needed it. The students of Class 1A, the pro heroes. Ochako. Needed it. She'll be just fine. I promise. Izuku said right as three other gigantic blue gasoline nukes appeared in different parts of the city. The heads of the explosions could be seen from the school windows, the rumblings of the explosions shaking the dorms as Izuku held Eri tighter. He had to do something. Ryukyu. Ochako screamed as she saw caught sight of the burning agency building. She used her grappling hooks and flew towards the building. Yukyu's office was on the third floor. She usually works until 3 a.m. It's 2:30. Ochako had to check. Ochako grappled towards the third level of the flaming building and crashed through one of the windows before seeing the destruction. The floors were gone, just walls and the remains of what used to be floors now on the ground level. Ochako grappled the ground and pulled herself downwards. Two bodies of burned heroes were against the wall. Hey, are you guys okay? Say something, Ochako yelled. She checked the bodies. They weren't breathing. Suddenly she heard a cough. Ochako turned to some debris behind her and saw another body, though only her torso was visible, the rest had been crushed. Ochako didn't notice it before from how blackened the body had been, probably caused by an explosion. Promoted stories. You'll also like. Feel fear, my dear Sword O. Dream on B. K. Downwards arrow tip rightwards, in which a jealous bachelor signs a deal with the devil in order to win over the heart of his first love. Katsuki Bakugo has loved the PR. Revenge of the wronged hero who happens to be. One could have thought that someone as pure and innocent as Izuku Midoriya would be betrayed by his friends who he thought that he could trust with everything he has. The Life of 17.2K486 Izuku. Midoriya wanted to be a hero his whole life and was bullied for it since he was quirkless. Izuku Midoriya was told that he would never get a quirk by his doctor. The quirkless lie in unseen power. S1N. Kurayami has always lived in the shadows, pretending to be quirkless in a world that reveres power. Her secret isn't weakness, it's Mindwev, a terrifying ability. Golden, Hispanic, Latina. Femme. Reader. Ex-Izuku. Heiress to the richest company in the world. The government of Japan has good relationships with your grandfather. It was the duty of the government to save. Falling 71.4K 1.3 Kever. Since Izuku Midoriya joined UA High School and settled in, he knew that the League of Villains were after him and his quirk, one for all. However, when the time Ravi, Tai, the body called, Ochako's eyes got wide. Ryukyu. Ochako ran in zero gravity's the large piece of concrete off of Yukyu's body. Luckily it landed on her at an angle, only fully crushing her leg, but her torso and other leg were badly injured. Her face was burned and bleeding. Hey, stay with me. We'll get you to an ambulance. Why, you were right. Lighter. It's him. And League. Yukio coughed out. Ochako wanted to respond but didn't have time. The building was collapsing. Ochako looked at the bodies of the two other dead heroes. She didn't have time, she had to leave them. Ochako ran out the building with Yukio on her back, light due to Ochako's quirk, just barely escaping before the building collapsed. The building came crashing down in a heap of fire, a storm cloud of debris covering the streets, blasting Ochako and Yukio away. Ochako was barely able to release Yukio from zero gravity as to make sure she didn't get blown away. Ochako, now covered in soot from the building, looked around her. Other buildings had caught fire due to the agency building's fire. People were screaming and running. When suddenly a big ball of gasoline started forming in the center of the road. People started running through the night away from the gasoline ball. Ochako, disoriented from the building collapse, squinted, and noticed a figure at the bottom of the liquid sphere, raising two fingers. A suicidal bombing. Ryukyu. Ochako yelled, stumbling her way to her teacher's body. She picked the body up and grappled away just before lighter snapped. The explosion, now a hot orange, was massive, blowing Ochako and Yukio buildings away. He was sucking up gas from vehicles and turning them into nukes. Did he just kill himself? Clone. Yukio muttered. A clone. Twice. There were twice clones running around. But how many? Were they all of Lighter? Or were there more of the League here? Suddenly Ochako not only saw, but felt the force of three other nukes. This time blue. Dabi. Ochako looked down at her teacher. There had to be a hospital around here. Ochako picked up her mentor and focused as best she could, grappling onto the flaming buildings and flying away trying to find a medical care. Stay safe, Izuku. Endeavor. It's nice we finally get to have this little chat. Dabi said, raising his hand to block an oncoming flame attack from Endeavor. Endeavor's agency was burning like the rest of them, the blue flames from the agency's fires slowly turning a brilliant shade of orange. A clone of Gaslighter walked out casually outside the burning building, staring at the two. Don't interfere with this one. I've got a personal grudge. You know what to do. Dobby directed at Lighter. I've already taken out two of your other clones. What makes you think you can beat me? Endeavor said with a glare. Dobby laughed with his emotionless eyes. Because I'm real old man. Besides, can you really focus on the fight when your agency full of injured heroes and civilians is blowing up? A lighter clone behind Dobby clicked his fingers, lighting a floating trail of gasoline, causing the building to burst into an even greater number of flames. Dad, a voice called out from the darker end of the street. Shoto, why are you here? Other parts of the city are in worse shape. Endeavor called out, when a blast of blue flames shot past Endeavor at Shoto. Shoto stomped his foot down, causing a massive wall of ice to break the flame's momentum. I'm not ready to deal with you yet. Neither you, for that fact, Endeavor. I don't plan to fully fight you. But I will give you a little taste of hell before the gates are opened. Dobby yelled with a wide crackling smile. Shoto, go after that gaslighter clone. They're causing large-scale explosions. The civilians in the area haven't noticed what's going on yet. Shoto darted past Endeavor, Endeavor protecting him against the blue flames of Dobby. Let's go, old man. You and me until the end. Dobby shouted, engaging Endeavor full force. Shoto slammed again on the ground, a wall of ice speeding towards Gaslighter, who was aiming his hand up to build his gasoline nuke. Lighter looked behind and dodged the wall, bending the gas he was forming onto the ice and clicking it to blowing the ice away. You're the one who took away my friend's quirk. Shoto said loudly, still somewhat monotone. An evil grin appeared on Gaslighter's face. A friend of Midoriya's. This makes this much more entertaining. Get everyone to safety. Mina, Froppy, get into the buildings and help people WHO are trapped. Aoyama. Blast the falling debris. Shoji, locate survivors. Iida yelled from the street directing his classmates as they ran to their orders. Explosions could be heard down the street. Multiple of them. Who was Bakugo fighting? He had flew ahead of everyone else. What villain was it? Was it the villain that attacked Midoriya? Could he cause this much damage at one time? Iida looked up at the night sky, now covered in smoke from the multiple towers of explosions that had happened. Iida looked down at Momo, who was taking in the horror with a hand to her mouth. Momo, Iida yelled, getting her attention. We need med kits and a way to get civilians to safety. Can you make anything? Momo stared at Iida. Shoto had run off, probably to find his father's agency. Was he okay? No, she had to be a hero. Now wasn't the time. Yes, I can. She cried, making medical supplies, ignoring the tears running down her face. I'm going to help Bakugo. Take charge here. Iida called out. Momo nodded as Iida sped off towards the sounds of explosions. Bakugo was flying around a Dabi and a gaslighter clone, Kirishima blocking and flames or explosions they were throwing at them. Bakugo, you can't fight them. You may trigger that ball of gasoline. I know, spiky hair, shut the fuck up. Ball of gasoline. Iida looked behind them and noticed the gasoline nuke behind Lighter and Dabi. Bakugo and Kirishima were keeping them busy. He had to destroy it somehow. Iida charged his burst and ran around the battlefield up and onto a building and jumped toward the ball of gasoline. He deactivated his engine last minute as to not light the gas. Hopefully kicking the ball of gas would throw off its balance and Gaslighter would lose control. However, Iida's foot went right through the liquid. The liquid retaining its form. You thought it would be that easy. Lighter clone yelled at Iida, shooting a streak of exploding gasoline at him, knocking Iida into a building. Iida, Kirishima called out, getting blown back by Dabi's flames a second later. Now, to light this bad boy. Dabi clone said as he raised his hand. No you don't bastard. Bakugo yelled, flying towards him. Dabi raised his other hand blasting Bakugo away and blasting the gasoline nuke at the same time. Right as the flames were about to hit the ball, a gigantic hand blocked the flames, instantly pulling back from pain. OWWW. You little brat. I'll squash you. The gigantic horned lady yelled. Cough asterisk Mount Lady. Some pros are here. Kirishima yelled, badly burned and leaning against a building. You let your guard down. Gaslighter clone stated, lighting the gasoline nuke from his end. The explosion knocked everyone, including Mount Lady, to the ground, crushing buildings in her path and setting off an orange gargantuan explosion. Rubble, fire and debris covered the streets, people screaming and crying for help. Iida pushed concrete off of him. The pros, their numbers were limited. Most of them had either not been prepared or died in the original fires the clones caused in the agency buildings. There was no end. What were they supposed to do? All Might. Izuku yelled, busting into All Might's office. All Might was onlooking the chaos from the window. Young Midoriya, are you okay? Are you hurt? He asked as Izuku ran with Eri in his arms toward him. I'm fine, but All Might, what do I do? I can't get my quirk to activate. Eri's quirk isn't working. It's there, I can activate and go into the realm, but it's like it's refusing. Izuku yelled. All Might looked down at his successor, the orange and blue lights of gasoline nukes bouncing off his face. I'm sorry, young Midoriya. I don't know what else there is I can tell you. Izuku's face fell. How was he supposed to help Ochako now? Suddenly Izuku and All Might's faces turned to fear. An explosion was heard on the side of the school building. One of them was here. Where stories live. Discover now.